Welcome to another episode of Backstage at BYU-Idaho.
Hi, my name is Jon Linford, and I'm the Vice President of Online and Pathway here at BYU-Idaho.
This week, we met with Vice President Jon Linford in the Executive Office. Jon began his employment at BYU-Idaho in August of 2004 as a faculty member in the Department of Music. He served as an Associate Dean in the College of Visual and Performing Arts from July of 2008 to January of 2010, and then as a Dean of that college until May of 2014, when he became Dean of Foundations and Interdisciplinary Studies. Prior to coming to BYU-Idaho, he taught music courses at universities in New Mexico and Arizona. He is an operatic baritone and has performed numerous operatic and oratorio roles throughout the United States and Europe. As our online vice president, Jon focuses on the educational quality and spiritual impact of the entire BYU-Idaho online experience. This includes addressing the needs of matriculated online degree-seeking students, pathway students, as well as campus-based students who take online courses, and of course, our wonderful array of online instructors. So tell us a little bit about the daily life of Vice President Jon Linford.
Well, I've gained 10 pounds since I got this position, and I think it's because I never leave this office or the conference room next door. That's all the exercise I get, and I go to lots of lunches, and they always have these wonderful gushy desserts. So I spend a lot of time in meetings, meeting one-on-one, meeting with the president, meeting with the president's council, meeting with my people who report to me. That's about all I do is meet, and it's a very exciting thing. The other thing is, though, I also do some traveling and get out and visit with pathway students and online students around the world, and that's a very exciting thing to do.
That's great. So do you have any daily professional habits that you think have made you successful?
I try to get up early in the morning, all the time, and it's less early than it used to be, but I still get up around 5 or 5:30, and always try to have about an hour with just me and my computer before the day starts. And I try not to just answer emails during that time. I try to make that kind of a time to think about direction and put together strategic kind of things. And I think that's probably one of my. And then after that, that's my act part of the day. Then the rest of the day is acted upon. Vicky, my secretary, tells me who I'm meeting with for the rest of the day, and we work through that. But it's important that I have that time to really kind of focus myself.
Gotcha. So we understand that you have a kind of interesting background. I watched the fall webinar that you did with online instruction, and I understand that you have a background in opera and singing and music.
I do.
So how do you think that interesting background has prepared you for the current job that you have now?
Actually, there's more stuff that you do professionally that I think prepared me for it in opera than you'd think. As an opera director, I spent a lot of time bringing people together, helping them understand a production, helping them understand what it was we were trying to get across, helping them realize their potential in the roles that they were playing in the show or the job that they had, whether they were on the stage or behind the backstage. And the delivery was something to people who I generally never met. You'd do the things on the stage, and the hall would fill up with hundreds of people, and some of those you'd meet backstage, but most of them, this was their experience. And so I think there's a lot of parallels between that. I also think that there's some value in music teaching you that various themes can be very different from each other, but that they can all fit together in an elegant counterpoint. And I think any managerial position has to be able to do that. Listen to the music being played by the campus faculty, listen to the music being played by our online faculty, listen to the music being played by our designers and developers, and help them to make a coordinated symphony out of that.
Wow, that's a really great analogy. That's very interesting. So I have to ask, who is your favorite opera singer?
Me. No, I mean, apart from me. And you ask any opera singer, that's what they're going to say themselves. That's why. No, I'm kidding. I've always been a great fan of Luciano Pavarotti. I say him because most people will know who he is. I love Renee Fleming. She's got a beautiful, beautiful voice.
That's cool. Good to know. So what are some of the initiatives that your department is working on that the online instructors might be interested in learning about?
Well, we're really looking first at the needs of our international students because they're the ones that are furthest from us. And one of the things that we're doing there that I think will have a lot of application in different ways to our domestic and even campus students is our degree structure where they start with a certificate. Internationally, we believe those certificates, which are about 15 credits each, will be a terminal degree for many students. Students will take that certificate and then get a job. And then if those certificates are stackable, in fact, we had a great conversation just a couple of weeks ago down in Buenos Aires with the country manager, personnel manager of Walmart. And as we talked to him about what we do with our stackable degrees with Pathway that prepares them, helps them learn English and gets them more responsible and get structure in their lives, and then they get a certificate. They were thinking could easily see the application of how a certificate could get them a job in a local store or a local thing, and then as they continued to take online their degrees while they're working, it would help them become promotable so that by the time they got their bachelor's degrees, they may be working at corporate headquarters and making a lot more money than they were when they started. So that degree structure has probably been the most important story of this year. And now how that will apply to domestic and campus students, we'll see how that goes. But I think even for a campus student who knows they're going to get a bachelor's degree, and we're not thinking of these being terminal for them, I think there's still a lot of value in them thinking of, well, what's the heart of what I want to be, and can I take a certificate that gets me started with that, and then maybe gets me ready for an internship. I do that internship, and then if I love it, great, I can build on that. If I don't love it, well, I have something that could become a cluster or a minor or something like that with another major. And I think it will shorten their time to graduation and help them get focused on a career sooner.
Right. I served my mission in Brazil, and so the Pathway program is huge there. And
It is.
The blessings of the Pathway program are gigantic. It's really an amazing program.
Brazil is our third largest, and they're very competitive. They'd love to be the second largest, especially since Mexico is the second largest. Our first largest Pathway students is the United States.
Right.
And then Mexico, then Brazil. Yeah.
We'll fight our way to the top.
Yeah, they're trying very hard.
So if you had a minute to speak face-to-face with all of our online instructors, what would you tell them?
I would say, first of all, thank you for putting up with us. The online instructors are in the front lines. It's like they're the infantry soldiers being sent into battle by all of us who sit back here and say, well, we think it should be this way, and we think it should be that way. And we have a lot of good feedback, and I think we've got a lot of good ideas on our end. But in a lot of times, our like I say, our online instructors end up bearing the brunt of whatever it might be, whether it be an iLearn 3 transition or whatever it is. We are listening to you. We're looking to make life as good for you as we possibly can. We hope that online learning is blessing your life. We hope to be able to make it bless your life even more. So continue to be patient with us as we figure this out. I often tell people that what did airplanes look like when they were only 10 years old? That's kind of what we're looking with online learning. When World War I started, all the generals on either side decided that they were not going to use airplanes in that war. They were just not reliable enough. And I think a lot of people have that same feeling about online learning. We're just not going to use that from worldwide. Of course, we've made that decision here. But I think there's such potential here. And there's some things we have to embrace, we have to wrap our mind around. And I think our online instructors are probably the pioneers in that. The hardest thing I think about online is that you hardly ever see the students. You have to work with people who you'll never meet, and that's very non-intuitive for a human being. And so there's almost like an evolution in human thinking that's going to have to take place in order for this to really work. And I think the online instructors are the leaders in that. They're the ones that are going to get that first. And we'll be able to learn from them and pass that out through the entire organization. So we're very interested in what the online instructors can teach us.